second section of our meeting, I will have Tyler explain the purpose of it, but for now, Toastmasters and President Tyler.
All right. So, table topics. This is the portion of the meeting where we learn our impromptu skills, learn how to speak on the spot. When you get called on in class and then you're like deer in the headlights, you know how to respond. So this is where we learn how to do that. So many of us already know what table topics is and how it works, but just a reminder, the 1 minute mark, that will be green, 1 minute 30, that will be yellow, and then 2 minutes will be red. All right, so let's go straight into the questions. The theme of the meeting is spring break, so I thought it'd only be reasonable that we have spring break related questions or questions that have been derived from spring break. So the first question, many of us have no plans for spring break next week, and we have less than a week to think of a plan. What would be your ideal solution for what you can do next week that is realistic? Let's go Slate.
And such, my ideal plans, what to do for spring break?
Yep, I got a random backup plan.
Cool. Yeah, so just backup plan. Probably not what you'd expect compared to like the usual spring break, go partying, go to the beach, use your time where you don't have your academics. I honestly would dive into my academics. I'm trying maybe do a site visit for a job, work on my resume, because honestly, like during the school year, I'm like just packed with homework and activities, clubs, anything else. So really that's my backup plan is really just study as regular homework and then get up to date on my other like academics, just thinking about the future, about my future job career. And so that's probably like the farthest thing from anyone else in really all this school or anyone else would think like a UGA student, or even my parents or anyone else. But so that's probably the ideal backup plan, and that's all I gotta say. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you. All right. My second question is actually very related to your answer in that some people, they don't want to go anywhere for spring break. They just want to stay home and maybe learn something. Maybe a skill that they've been wanting to learn all semester, but it's like, you know what? I think now I actually have the time dedicated to do it. So what is something you want to learn with no prior experience in 1 week? Let's go Ryan.
How to train your dragon. That'd be cool. Because why not? 1 week. I have a bunch of projects that I teach myself. I want to build a website or learn some programming language, but I'm never going to do that. Let's be real. But to train a dragon, that would be cool. Bearded dragon. I had a friend in middle school who loved telling people that he owned a pet dragon. It was a bearded dragon, not a real dragon. So I guess he owned a dragon. Very annoying. But I've never actually seen that movie. But I would watch it and I would learn from the movie how to train my dragon. And I'd find a dragon to train. Dragon Quest? There's some isn't Dragon Quest a game? Yeah. Figure out, if I could train my virtual dragon and beat Tyler's virtual dragon. So this is what I would do in a week. Also, I'd like to close with the fact that I think Tyler has no plans for spring break, and that last question was because he actually needs plans for spring break, so I hope Slate helped you out. Find something. Or maybe you're looking for my answer. Train your own dragon, we'll duel. Thank you.
I actually do have plans. Now. All right. So for people who do want to go on vacation, a lot of the times everyone is on social media, whether it be on Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook. And you always see these people that you're following or your rich friends going to these extravagant places, doing these crazy things, and you think, all right, one day I gotta go there and do that exact thing. So what is something you saw on social media that inspired you to want to go somewhere and want to go do something? Who's that? Everyone's gonna get a question at this point.
So I have the unfortunate experience of having a missionary as my Instagram friend. I have nothing against this missionary friend. I love the work he's doing, and he's bringing hope and prosperity to the regions that he is visiting. The problem is, his filter game is on point, and he's going everywhere around the world. So I see pictures of him in Peru, then Germany, then Spain, then Austria, then Australia the next day. And I don't know how to pick up my Instagram game to that point. But, what was the question again? Because I just want to go on a rant about this guy.
Place that you saw on, say, social media that inspired you to want to go there. Or something you saw on social media that inspired you to want to do something.
So I want to rant about this person more and forget about the question, but honestly, when he posted those pictures of Niger, when he was actually posting pictures of what work he was doing, growing the community, growing plants, I wanted to help him out in Niger because of the work that he needs to do to bring a community out of poverty, honestly, to a place where people can have actual smiles on their face instead of worrying about the next plate of food. So, even though this guy irritates me to no end with his Instagram account, I would love to be a part of his mission. Thank you.
All right. Some people during spring break like to commit crimes. Some people like to do simple vandalism or go on operational heists to the fullest extent. I have some crazy friends. So, if you had a full operational heist, what would be your team? What would be your plan that you have a whole week to set up for spring break? And then what would be the one thing you have to steal during that heist? Sarena. Oh, wait, Jose? Okay, Jose.
So, if I had to put together a team to do a heist during spring break, first of all, my team would consist of my two best friends. I don't even want to say their names, because if I say their names, the whole mission is going to be compromised from their names. So, our mission is going to be to unwind the greatest yo-yo. To be honest, I don't know where I was going with this, but we're just going with it now. Actually, I'm going to change routes, and instead of saying the biggest yo-yo, we're going to drink the largest soda. Now, if I am correct and up to date, the last time I read a world records book, the largest world record for a group of people drinking 1 cup of soda was the size of a 4-foot deep pool that was about 20 by 20 feet. It took them 2 days to get this done. I think my team and I could get it done in 1 day. All right, thank you.
I wish this was like 360, because if you saw Slate's face, he's just like... All right. We have one of those friends. Everyone has one of those friends. It could be you, the woman or man of action. Someone who on a Friday will think, you know what, I kind of want to fly to Boston this weekend, and then will buy the plane ticket the day of, and will spend that weekend in Boston. What is the most spontaneous thing you've done or have been a part of? Go, Kirk.
Thank you. So I think of myself as a very spontaneous person, but rarely do I do anything like hop on a plane last minute or jump in the car and just drive and not really have a plan in mind. But I think of things like that a lot. So I have this idea in my head where I moved here from Denver about a year and a half ago, and I might go back to visit Denver this weekend. Realistically, I'm probably not going to. I have a friend flying down to visit me Monday morning, and I thought, rather than picking her up at the airport Monday morning, what if I was just flying back from Denver at that same time? I'm landing in the Atlanta airport, my car's parked there, perfect. And I have some friends coming in from Denmark that are going to be in Denver, try and keep that straight. And so I thought, I'll go back for, 36 hours to Denver, fly out like Saturday afternoon, fly back early Monday morning, hang out with them. I play in an ensemble that will all be collected in Denver that weekend, so like this could be a really good thing. So that's my spontaneous plan for this weekend, and it's definitely not going to happen. But it might. Who knows?
Well, the plan is out there now. All right. Sometimes during spring break, there are some people that just like to watch Netflix. I might be that person next week. That's my plan. But there's this one show I watched called Master of None. And the main character in one of the shows, or in one of the episodes, Dev, takes his POI, his person of interest, Rachel, on a first date to Nashville for a whole weekend. That is a super flex move, as Ryan's face shows. So if you had the money, the unlimited funds, and the time, where would you take someone on a first date for a whole spring break, anywhere in the world? We go Sarena.
Alright, so I have an entire spring break getting to know one person, so I better already know this person, and hopefully he's already a friend, because otherwise it'd be really awkward if the first date went really wrongly, and then everything would be really awkward. So I'd say in that case, in case something goes awry, why don't we go on a cruise? So in case something goes wrong, I can just throw him off the boat. Or you could just get another room, So I think a cruise would be a really good idea because first of all, you have plenty of time to sit down and relax and just be in an environment where you can eat as much as you want, and so you don't really have to worry about, oh, is my date going to pay? Where are we going to go out to eat? You have all these options in front of you. You got the buffets, you got the fine dining. I've never been on a cruise before, so I don't know what else, but you could do that. And then you have a lot of activities planned for you. So one thing that I really like to do is travel. So I know cruises will take a lot of trips throughout the region that they're supposed to be in. So you can go to the beach, and you can also choose cruises that go to Alaska, for example, or you could do one that goes to the Mediterranean. So I think it would overall be a really fun adventure, being able to explore different places with this person and having a really chill, relaxed vacation.
All right, there are some places we've been to on vacation that everyone says to go to, but then once you go, it's like, that was not as great as everyone thought or mentioned. So what is one place you've been to on vacation that you thought, all right, I can't recommend this place to anyone, just don't go? Ben.
Okay. Yeah, are you gonna time the timer?
Time the timer.
Yeah, you get a time.
Alright, so somewhere I would not recommend to go. Well, it's not exactly true for this place because getting to go anywhere is amazing, but somewhere that was definitely disappointing to see was actually Niagara Falls, surprisingly. Because when I went, you imagine this giant thing where you can look out and see, this huge torrent of water pouring down, and then you're like, oh wow, that's cool, and then you walk on and do something else. But when I got there, what they don't tell you is that the spray from the water creates such a mist and fog, you can't actually see the waterfall. So I went there, and there was just fog, and I couldn't see anything. So I was like, great, that was Niagara Falls. Congrats. So yeah, that's definitely a place I would recommend to go at a time when maybe the fog is not as foggy from the
the water hitting the ground. Definitely also, I talked to the guide, see it from the Canadian side if you can. That's actually the better side to see Niagara from rather than the US. So that's it.
Give you back your
Yes.
timer. All right. When you were a kid, it was a lot easier to be impressed and excited by certain things, like little simple things. You can go to Disney World and then you'd be excited to see a chocolate chip pancake in the shape of Mickey Mouse. But then nowadays, as we're older, our bar is set a lot higher. We have to do crazier things, like skydiving, or bungee jumping, something like that, or bull riding. Never know. So, when was the last time you were genuinely happy or like wowed by something? Tyler.
It's good to have take your hat off. Genuinely happy or wow? I think because I'm doing the jiu-jitsu seminar right after spring break, I'll talk about this one. First time I was genuinely, or the most recent, you said the first or most recent?
Most recent.
Most recent was when I started jiu-jitsu. And I've done a lot of contact sports in my life. I've done rugby. I've done bull riding, I guess you call that contact. I always played pickup football, like tackle, when I was in high school. So I was too small to actually play football for a 5A school. And so, I thought I knew what was up as far as wrestling and whatnot. And I was very, very, very wrong. My first, I guess, match at jiu-jitsu class practice was against somebody, and at this time I was about 155, 165 because I'd been lifting weights. And they pitted me up against somebody who was about 125, 135. He was either blue or purple belt, which in the belt scheme is the third level purple belt is. And it didn't matter what I did, that guy would just twist me up like a pretzel and just toss me aside and submit me or choke me, and didn't matter how strong I was, didn't matter how big I was, it was just crazy, and it really wowed me. Like after, of course, his probably, I would imagine, 5 or 6 years of doing jiu-jitsu, he was able to do something like that. So that was the last time something like that caught me. Thank you.
All right. Final question. Only one person hasn't spoken yet, so Tricia. The question for you is, a lot of times when we see something, we smell something, we taste something, we have a memory or some kind of connection to maybe a place or a person. What is that one random thing that reminds you of something?
So I'm from the Philippines, and I've only been back 3 times in my life. The first one I really couldn't remember, but the last time I was 15 and I was in the province where my grandmother lives, and one of my most favorite desserts there is when you cut up an avocado, sliced up avocado, put some sliced up mangoes in there, put some evaporated milk, condensed milk, ice, and then you kind of like eating like a fruit bowl cereal with legitimate pieces of fruit with it. And it's definitely a weird combination because you normally think of avocados as being like guacamole and something savory. But for me, that memory takes me back, and every time I eat that dessert afterwards, it takes me back being in the Philippines with the humidity, with the extreme heat, and you're wearing your shorts and your t-shirts, and just spending time in the most simplest of lives there. And even though I don't get to speak with my grandmother often, that food definitely brings me back. Thank you.
All right, that concludes the table topics portion. Everyone spoke today. That was the first.